Hi all, my name is Ayushma and today I am giving advice to my client Mr. Isaac Kim regarding which business structure to adopt for his new business. Now Mr. Isaac Kim is a new business entrepreneur and he is about to establish a new business venture in Australia. So on the basis of his responses, I have decided to advise him the most suitable form of business which I believe will work for him. Now, Mr. Isaac, as a single owner, a single director company will be the most suitable for you. Now, as you've said that you have some sort of trust issues with your brother, I would recommend you to not opt for a partnership firm, but rather a one director company. Now, in a one director company, you yourself can be the shareholder and the director. In these type of companies, you have to comply the rules of the Corporations Act, and you will be regulated, your firm will be regulated by the Australian Securities and Investment Commission, ASIC. Now, in these type of companies, the company is a separate legal entity and you are separate from the investments and the management of the company. But in a single director company, you're self-serving as a shareholder and director, so you have the option to take part in decision making and management of the company. You have expressed your desire to take part in the management and decision making, so yeah, this will be a suitable company for you. And because you have clearly mentioned that you are not so willing to undertake the risk of being personally liable to the outsider, so this kind of company will give you the advantage of limited liability. And the other thing is that when you work as a director for the company, you are protected by a corporate veil, and this corporate veil cannot be lifted unless and until you involve in some kind of a wrongdoing. If you do, the corporate veil may be lifted by the court and you may be sued by a third party. Now, the duties of the director, they include the fiduciary duties, the general law duties, and the statutory duties. Now, there are certain sections in the statutory duties, like section 182 mentions the proper use of one's position. Section 181 mentions working towards the interest of the company, and Section 183 mentions the proper use of information in the company. So as a director, you owe a duty of care towards the company, and in this case, it's actually a court case, which is the Daniels versus AWA. Now, also in Section 588G of the Corporations Act, it states the conditions of the director when he is personally liable towards meeting the obligations of the firm, and these are the cases when you have a risk of being sued. So these situations are created when you push the company towards being insolvent. So in this case, you have to make sure that you comply all the rules of the Corporations Act, and you make sure that you work towards with good faith towards the best interests of the firm. Now, besides this, like I have told you, unless and until you're involved in some kind of wrongdoing, you are protected. You are well protected, and you have limited liability. So, a very popular case in case of this limited liability is the Salomons case, where Mr. Salomon owns a business which he sells to a company which he himself has incorporated. Now, when he sells the business, the company pays him partially, and partial funds are yet to be received. Now, instead of that, the company gives its own assets as collateral to Mr. Salomon. Later on, when the company fails to meet its, when the company goes into liquidation, then Mr. Salman gets top priority when the debts are paid, because he is a secured creditor. When the other creditors argue to this fact, then the court, the case goes into court, where the court says that because the company is a separate legal entity, it is equally responsible to pay Mr. Salman because he is a secured creditor. Now in this case, as you can see, that you are well protected, and you will be given top priority when such cases arise. So what I would like to say is that a single director company would be the best one for you, and I hope that my advice has been some kind of a help for you. And yeah, I would like to wish you all the best in your upcoming endeavors, and thank you for your time, and thank you so much for answering my questions and helping me out in this research report. Thank you so much.